So not everything works for everyone.
Not everything.
Every child is different. Graphic novels are art, and they are the best kind of books to bring reluctant readers into reading.
It's a very interesting point you mentioned there. We are not allowing our kids to get bored.
Yes. Simply you're detached from the world. So what memories are you making?
There are so many lovely Indian
I
authors.
think it's for sure that we take kids literature very seriously. There are a lot of fun books, but at the same time, there are also books that one should read. Because you're reading. I think it's a win. I think the kind of sensory experience the physical books give you,
Yes.
no one can take that
Take
away.
that away. Absolutely. Yeah. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Tantrums to Triumphs at Kids Adda in Bangalore. Today we are talking to a special guest who has started different kids' libraries. She is a CA and CS by qualification, and her love for books has given birth to Kahani Box. They have a very well curated list of books by various authors, and they also conduct various activities and workshops for children. You will find her in the cozy nooks with her 10-year-old daughter reading books if you want to find her somewhere. Let's dive into it. Thank you, Neha, for coming here today to Kids Adda to talk about Kahani Box.
Thank you, Deepti. Thank you for calling me.
It is great to have you here. I have seen so much about Kahani Box and the activities that you do, the kind of books you put out on social media. I was always interested to talk to you and, get to understand a little bit about, Kahani Box and your background. So let's start from there. Tell us a bit about your background and what was the inspiration behind Kahani Box?
So Kahani Box started in 2017, but I'll start a little before that. My daughter was born in 2014, and when she was about 2.5, 3 years old is when I started looking for good libraries in our neighborhood, and I couldn't find any.
Okay.
There was one, but again they didn't have very good collection, or the books were not in very good condition. And that's when I started buying books for my daughter, and slowly in about a year's time we had more than 500 books at home.
Wow.
And I didn't know what to do with them, and I figured that, in today's time, the problem that we had as children was that we didn't have access to books, mainly because our parents didn't have the kind of resources we have. So I realized that today's parents have the resources. Getting access to books or buying books was not a problem. Problem was not having a good readers community nearby, where like-minded parents could meet, a reader could meet another reader, a child could meet another child his or her age, and see and ask them, talk to them, what kind of books you're reading. I think that was a major miss. And I figured, why not start something where you gather all the readers, create a community? And that was the main idea behind Kahani Box when I started it in 2017. We started very small, started from home. I had about 500 books in the collection that time. With whatever we had available at home, we started with that. And I was just advertising in our apartment group.
Yeah.
And kids kept coming. It's also convenient for children in the same apartment to quickly access the books, and then I realized a lot of books go but don't come back because there is no plan in place, there is no system in place. I was just randomly giving books to them, no accountability, nothing. Then I created a system, and after that we started doing storytelling sessions at home, and organically when it grew after a point where we had about 2,000 books at home, is when I thought it's the right time to take it out to a commercial space. And
Wow.
yeah.
2,000 books at home is a lot.
Yes.
Did you dedicate a room only for books?
Eventually, yes. It started with a single bookshelf, but slowly one whole room with multiple shelves, and the whole bed, the wardrobe, everything got filled with books.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And your daughter also took on to books, obviously,
Yes.
with all those books around and you reading and children coming and talking.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
How was your relationship with books when you were growing up or when you were a child? You always were into it, or it's something that you picked up later?
I was, from what I remember, what my parents tell me, that I was always interested in books. we didn't have libraries. There was I have vivid memories. I remember reading books as a child, but the books that I was reading were all the Chacha Chaudharys and Champak and
Yep.
Pinky,
Tinkle.
Billu, Tinkle. Tinkle was a luxury. Tinkle was
a
expensive.
luxury. Yeah.
So we used to not get it that easily. We could borrow it from a friend, or if our grandparents are coming, they would buy one for us at the railway station.
Yeah.
And I would read the same Tinkle over and over and over, because you've got a Tinkle, you
Tinkle
have
at
to
home,
exhaust
yeah.
it, you have to read it multiple times before
Yeah.
you give it to someone else. And then a few cousins gave me Enid Blyton's.
Yep.
Then when I grew up, we had a library in school, but the collection was not that great. They were all educational books, books about space, chemistry, and
Yep.
they were not fun. I mean, those are not the books that we were anyway reading them in school. Why would I want to read them again? So, and we had an uncle very close to where I used to live. He had a small, not really a library, but he had his own personal collection displayed in his garage, where children could go pick up one comic per day for 1 rupee. So I would every day come back from school, take that 1 rupee coin, go to that uncle, just 2 lanes in the same block. I would walk there, give him a coin, enter in the register, get that book back, read it multiple times, and then wait for the next day to get that next coin.
Wow.
It was fun. And when I grew up, then we changed schools, and the new school had an amazing library.
Okay.
Ah.
It was heaven, wasn't it? For book lovers.
It was a heaven. And I could borrow books and take them home.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful experience. That is where I started reading Daniel Steele, Sidney Sheldon, Jeffrey Archer, Dan Brown, Agatha Christie. The world opened then for me.
I know. Yeah.
But I've always been reading.
Okay. Fantastic. That's nice to know. I think I can relate to the library. I used to read Hardy Boys and Secret Seven and Nancy Drew. I was not a big fan of Nancy Drew, but anyway. But now when I walk into, say, a Crossword or any bookstore, there are so many new authors.
Yes.
Especially for kids as well. And there are so many lovely Indian authors with so many books that reflect our history and our culture. So tell us a bit about how you curate your collection. How do you pick your authors? Do you read them before bringing it to your library, or how does that process work?
Yeah. So one thing is for sure that we take kids literature very seriously. Yes, we curate with a lot of care and love. We mostly read the books that come in, but once we've established that this author writes really well, then we make sure, and the children are loving their writing, we make sure that we keep adding the books that they write in the future. That's one. We have a team who reads and then adds, but we try to add books which are inclusive, have themes of diversity. We do have a lot of books that are fun, like silly books that kids love. But I think we also have books around disability, body image, and we underestimate children. We think kids who are 6 or 7 may not understand, but there are a lot of beautiful books for that age group that have themes of disability, or being kind to others, be empathetic to others, and be kind to people who look strange. They look very different, but they're humans. So we do have books around those themes, and children have loved these books. That is something that I observed. And then we also have books around grief. So there are a lot of fun books, but at the same time there are also books that one should read. So books about grief, as I said, or books about say a roadside dog. Be empathetic to animals, be kind to animals, and books around those themes. So we try to include a diverse palette
Yeah. So you have categorized those books
Yes.
in your library, and based on the category of choice, children can go and pick up those books.
Absolutely, yes. So when you say you walk into the library, you see there's a tub which says books dealing with emotions. As an adult, I have realized that unless you like yourself and understand your emotions, you'll not be able to understand other people's emotions.
Yeah.
So it's very important even for children, because children can sometimes be mean without knowing that they're mean.
Correct.
They may bully without knowing that what they're doing is bullying.
Yep.
You're being unkind to someone, you're passing a remark which is not very kind, and the other person is getting hurt. But they don't do it on purpose, they don't realize that they're doing this.
Yeah.
So there are books on emotions, and then when you read these books, you understand the other person's point of view. And then you also discuss and you talk to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the basis on which we had these books.
Yeah, that is so rightly said. A lot of times children, let alone children, even adults don't understand sometimes that the message that they are passing may be hurtful or maybe negative. It is, I think, that learning that was probably missing when they were young, or they were not corrected at the time that they needed to be corrected. Nice. So how does your membership model work?
So we have two different models. One is library visit. We have 3 physical stores in Bangalore as of now.
Yeah.
So people who enroll for library visit plans can read unlimited books.
Okay.
They can draw and take a certain number of books home, but you can exchange them n number of times.
Okay.
Unlimited time. So basically you can read unlimited books. And then if one opts for a home delivery model for reasons that say they stay very far from the library, or they're not able to come to the library very regularly, then in home delivery plan, you can either opt for getting say 6 books a month or 12 books a month. And the plans are very reasonable. They start from 450, 500 per month, wherein we also deliver books wherever you are. You may be in Yalahanka, you may be in Rajaji Nagar, you may be wherever you are, we deliver books and you read them for a month, and then after a month we pick them up.
Wow, that's really good. I think that will be very helpful for a lot of...
The reason we've priced it this way is because of 2 reasons. One, we don't want anyone to think twice before getting a subscription, because 500 now is like hardly anything.
Yeah.
That was one. And more than that, with unlimited exchange, the option or the opportunity that you get is you can try books that you wouldn't have otherwise tried. You pick something, even if it's not your kind of a book, pick it up. You don't like it, give it back and pick something else. That gives you an option to try different genres, try different themes.
Yeah.
Because if you're buying a book, then you have to be very sure you want to read it.
Yes.
But with library, you can that was the idea behind it.
Excellent. Yeah, I understand, the whole ideology behind that, because sometimes you end up picking something, saying, okay, I've never tried this genre, maybe I should, and then you buy it.
Yes.
And then you are not even halfway through and you're like, okay, it's not something that I'd like to read. Yeah. Excellent. So, lot of digital reading gadgets have come up. Kindle and phones and Audible.
Yes.
What do you see a shift in the way traditional book reading is happening today, given that there are so many other options which are a lot more accessible?
See, I don't see screen or any form of digital format as a competition or as a villain. I think any kind of reading, be it on Audible or on Kindle, or if you're reading a magazine, you're reading a newspaper, or you're just reading an ad that, an advertisement that you got in the newspaper, anything basically, as long as you're reading, I think it's a win. So, and then I think the kind of sensory experience the physical books give you, no one can take that away.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I feel that as long as we have papers, I don't know, I read it somewhere, I heard it somewhere, if there is paper, there's going to be physical book.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll mention, I mean, that we're talking about this. My daughter, um, she likes to listen to books on Audible while reading the physical book.
Okay.
So she has that physical book going,
Yeah.
but also listening to the same book right at the same time. So it feels like a read aloud to her, and she loves it. So
Oh.
that engages all the senses.
Sensory. Yeah.
She likes reading like that. I like, I personally don't like Audible because I feel that the reading is much slower on Audible.
Okay.
Kindle is better than Audible for me as
Yeah.
as an individual, but I mean, all our readers have Kindles at
Yes.
home. Almost everyone has an Audible. As long as you're reading, it's a win.
It's a win.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I again relating it to the physical book. I love a smell of a new book.
Yes, nobody can take that away.
So I do have a Kindle. I read on the Kindle because it's more convenient, especially at night
Yes.
when the lights are off and then you just aren't able to sleep, but you want to read something. Kindle is the go-to. But there are times when you just feel like walking into a bookstore, reading what's behind the book, and then just picking it up.
Yes.
That joy is different. Yeah.
Going back and forth is much easier in a physical book
Yes. That is true.
compared to a Kindle.
Kindle. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of children come to Kahani Box and a lot of parents bring them in. Have you seen like a child resist a book or just wants to play but doesn't want to read a book, but then there has been a transformation or any aha moment like that?
Usually when children come to the library, they always come with a wow kind of a
Oh,
thing,
nice,
because they
okay.
see books. And if you see the stores that we have created, all the 3 branches are very inviting.
Okay.
There are beautiful illustrations everywhere. All illustrations of book characters.
Okay.
And books are very easy to access. And
Yep.
but yes, so I understand the point that you're asking is there are readers who've come in as reluctant readers.
Yep.
But eventually with time have become voracious readers, because we have books for all type of readers.
Okay.
Usually for children who are not that into reading or are visual readers, they like to see pictures more than the text. We recommend shorter books for them. We recommend graphic novels or comics to them. And parents, underestimate graphic novels a lot,
Yeah.
because they feel that there's hardly any
Hardly
text.
any content.
Yes, what are you going to read in this? Or if you take it, you're going to finish it in like 10 minutes
Yeah.
and then ask for a change again. But graphic novels are art, and they convey the story, and they are the best kind of books to bring reluctant readers into reading. And now in today's time, like, we've got some amazing graphic novels coming all the way from US, UK, the Scholastic, Puff. Everyone's bringing amazing graphic novels.
Okay.
The kind of comics we were not getting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've seen reluctant readers become voracious readers, but it's a slow process. It takes time. But with the right kind of books and the right kind of environment, every child can become a reader. So what we usually do is, like, we supplement these books with book club discussions,
Okay.
or a storytelling session, or say inviting an author.
Yep.
So if a child has read a book and then the next week they meet the author, it's a different experience.
Yeah.
And that brings them into reading. Yeah, that's
So how do you help, say, a child is just starting off reading and they're still trying to figure out what kind of genres, is something that is of interest to them. How do you help children who are trying to figure out what their interest is?
So the first thing that we try to identify is what is the reading age of the child, not their biological age. A child in 3rd grade may have a different reading level compared to another child of grade 3 who's been reading for quite some time. There are grade 3, grade 4 children who are already reading chapter books. And then there are also grade 3, 4 children who are still starting and reading a few sentences each page. So we understand what is the child's reading age. At what level are they reading right now?
Okay.
Second thing to identify is what are they interested in. So some children love horror and some children love football.
Yeah.
So we would then try to pick a book which matches their interests at that reading level and give them those books and slowly initiate. And then we also ask the parents to keep an eye and see what kind of books are they reading again and again on their own. That gives us an idea as to what they're really interested in.
Interesting. Because I know I have come across children who are not able to figure out what is the genre that they like. And for some reason, I thought every child likes Harry Potter. But no, I did come across kids who don't
Yes.
fancy Harry Potter as much as even I probably do. So, yeah.
So not everything works for everyone.
Not everything.
Every child is different. A lot of times, I don't know if there's a separate segment where we discuss what role parents have, but I think parents, because a lot of them are not readers,
Yeah.
they don't understand the cycle that a reader goes through. Reader goes through a cycle where they're constantly reading books and then come back to a point where there's a reading slump.
Yeah.
Like you're not able to enjoy anything.
Yeah.
And it happens even with adults. And also when parents are not readers themselves, they get information from other parents that what is your child reading? My child is reading Harry Potter. Okay, fine, let me try this with my child. They give it to the child doesn't read it, my child is not a reader is a conclusion, which is absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
You've not given the child the right kind of books, and it's not their mistake because they don't know.
Yeah.
We know every parent wants the best for their child. Problem is we don't know what kind of book works for my child unless you visit bookstores and libraries and you try different options that are available.
Yeah.
Only then you're able to, once that clicks,
Then they're hooked on to.
then they're hooked on to the books.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's very interesting. So, what kind of challenges do you see parents are facing nowadays trying to get their children to read books, especially given there are so many distractions and so many things happening for children nowadays, be it toys, be it digital, media, be it activities and school, academics. Apart from that, what is the biggest challenge that the parents are facing
I
today?
think time.
Time.
Children are busy, parents are busy, everyone's busy. Children are busy in school for 8 hours.
Yeah.
They come back, they have homework for another half an hour, 45 minutes. Then tests here and there, and then busy with extracurricular, whatever other classes that they go to, dance class, gym, yoga.
Yeah.
Children are busy. Children don't have time to get bored.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem I feel with this generation. We are not letting them get bored.
Yeah.
We would get bored. I remember
Yes,
when
we
we were
would get
children,
bored.
we were allowed to get bored. I
Yeah.
mean, we would just sit and do nothing and
Stare.
stare at random
Random
stuff. We would
things,
look
yeah.
at the birds in the garden
Yeah.
and just observe them. And children are becoming disconnected with nature, which is a very scary thing.
Yeah.
And with books, they get that pause,
Yeah.
because it's a very solitary thing. You're reading with you're there,
Yeah.
and the book,
Yeah.
and the characters in the book. There is no dopamine there.
Yeah.
So it is again something that is not that exciting for a non-reader. I think that's a challenge that parents are facing. They try for a month or two. If the child is not getting the right kind of book, or if they're not getting interested in reading, they think my
give up.
child is not into reading and they give it up.
Yeah.
How they say, for forming any habit, you have to, like, if you want to become a gym
Be
goer, or you want to walk, or
consistent,
you
yeah.
have to be consistent. And consistency is something that's missing. And reading, unlike other hobbies or other, I would say, habits, take a little longer to get
Yeah.
basically as a part of your. So that is something that's missing. Parents are busy, So a lot of times I've seen that parents although stay very close to the library but still opt for home delivery plans because no one has the time to come to the library.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the challenges I think, but I feel that childhood is nothing but memories.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so important to make memories. You go to office, it's not the work. It's the people that are there in the office that you remember, even after
Absolutely.
years.
Yeah.
It's not the apartment, but the people or friends you make in the apartment is what you remember even after years.
Yeah.
So as a child, what is it that the child is going to remember? When you're looking at the screen constantly, you're detached from the world. So what memories are you making when you look back and you say, what have I done?
Yeah.
So I think going out is a big challenge. I mean, people are going out, don't get me wrong. People are going
Yeah.
out, but again, that's again busy. Nobody is like
Yes.
stopping and pausing and getting bored.
Yes.
That's a very big challenge, I think.
That's a very interesting point you mentioned there. We are not allowing our kids to get bored.
Yes.
And actually the boredom teaches a lot more, just which is something how we have learned, and the kids today are missing out on it.
Yeah.
So how do you have any recommendation on facing this challenge of trying to get time to read? Anything for parents?
So what we recommend is read for 10 minutes every day. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We're not saying, people think bookworms are just always with a book.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people like that. Like I carry a book everywhere. If I have a dentist appointment or wherever, I always carry a book. Instead of looking at the phone, I'd rather read. But that's not reading. I mean, there's more to reading. You just read for 10-15 minutes a day, and I think that is enough to get you into reading. So just be consistent, read every day, read for 10-15 minutes, read to your child in the night. My daughter is 10, she can read on her own, she's reading chapter books, but still we read every night. I read to her, I read a chapter or two from whatever she's reading, and that time where we cuddle and we look forward to that time.
Yep.
She's busy, I am busy, I've got stuff of my own. She has a life of her own. She has friends to play with and do whatever activities that she's doing. But in the end, those are the memories we're making.
Builds bonds. Yeah.
So funny passage, and we laugh and we think about it and we discuss it.
Yeah.
And then she tells me a story from school.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I think making those memories, we can take out 10 minutes from our daily life, 10-15 minutes every day.
Yeah, I think that's we all used to read before sleeping for a couple of minutes at least.
Yes.
That habit has to be passed on to the kids as well, and I think somewhere parents are all busy, like you said. Everybody's working, and there are little things sometimes maybe we forget, and that needs to be reinstated. Nice. So coming back to Kahani Box, did you face any challenges while setting up your first store, first library? And what were the lessons learned?
So 2020 is when we opened the first store.
COVID.
In February.
Okay.
And March there was lockdown. That was the biggest challenge, I think.
Oh, no.
And we were able to overcome that. And that's the point where we started home delivery, because we realized everyone's locked at home.
Yep.
No one's going out. TV or mobile, I mean, how much are you going to watch?
Correct.
And so yeah, that's the point where we started home delivery, and we evolved and adapted to whatever the situation had given us. And that's interestingly a time where we expanded also. So in about a year's time, when we started the first store, was a very small setup. It was just 300-400 square feet, enough for 2,000-3,000 books. And during this COVID period, from 2020 to 21, somewhere mid-August, is when we had about 13,000 to 14,000 books in about a year. So we added another 10,000, because that's the kind of reading that was happening during COVID, all with home delivery. hardly any library visit because people, even after the lockdown was lifted, people were staying at home. Schools had not opened. So in 2021 we moved to a bigger space, which was which was 10 times bigger than whatever we were in. And, and now we have approximately close to 60,000 books in our inventory.
Between 3 libraries.
Between the 3 libraries. There were challenges. I mean, with passion alone, you can't run a business. You have to have a sustainable model.
Correct.
So figuring out what model works best, how do we take care of deliveries, because again, that's another ball game. Having your own delivery staff and then getting things. So we figured that out. We worked out plans and everything. So I feel that almost every person who starts a bookstore or library has a lot of passion.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other reason why someone would start a library. Or a bookstore.
Yeah.
But a sustainable plan, I think, is something that's sometimes missing.
Okay.
So that was a conscious effort. I mean, we really sat down and thought about the plans and everything. Yeah, so that was a challenge. There are a lot of spreading awareness, because initially when we started a library, my own family kept saying, "Arey, you're a CA. Why would you want to become a librarian?"
Yeah.
So there were challenges.
Yeah.
Inside, outside. But
yeah, I think you, as an entrepreneur, you understand your own passion and you know what would work. So you do a lot of activities and workshops. You run book clubs at Kahani Box. You run a Kannada book club, and which is very different as well. And you do a lot of author reading sessions as well. So I'm sure when a child has read a book and has met an author, they feel like they've met their idol or a celebrity. Have you had a situation like that? I mean, how were the children's expressions when they met the author that they've read the book of?
So very recently we had author Shruti Rao come in. She was talking about a book called Malhar in the Middle. And then there's this one 7-year-old kid who's a member who also plays tabla. The book is about a boy who plays tabla, and with that book he felt seen. He felt like this book is about me, and he could relate with the character.
Wow.
And when something like that happens, the children get more involved with the whole process. And of course, it was a wonderful experience. The author loved meeting him.
Okay.
He also did a little bit of tabla recitation during the session.
Oh, lovely.
Because the book was about a boy who
Tabla.
plays. So that was one wonderful moment. There are many, but that was one that happened very recently. We've also had members, children who have also published their own books now. 2 kids are published with Scholastic Publishers. There's another one with Book Cosmia Publishers. So these are all moments when I see something like this, I feel that I'm doing something right, on the right track.
Yes, absolutely. I think you should feel very proud of what you're doing. Yeah. Do you help kids publish books? If, say, for example, a child has written a story and they want it published, the parent thinks it should get published. Do you help?
So we usually direct them to the publishers then. We have contacts of a few publishers. So we guide them, we tell them what is the process and how publishing works. Personally, I don't encourage children a lot to publish, because I think publishing is a completely different ball game, and I think this may not be the right age for them to publish. But if someone's really keen on doing it, anyway, I mean, I usually say contribute to your school magazine, or if there's a magazine in the library, you could contribute to that, a digital platform. But if one's really keen on doing it, then we tell them that this is how it works, and then we connect them to the publishers, and then they take it forward from there.
Okay, great. Yeah, because I do see a lot of children who like to write little stories, and we have had parents who have approached us and asked if we know a way in which we could get that book published, more as a memory for the child.
Yes.
As they were growing up, this is what you have written, and so forth. Wonderful. So let's end with one last question that I have. I'm sure a lot of women and men, anybody who wants to start a library, what would your advice be to them?
Start slow,
Okay.
but start strong with a very good collection, because your collection is going to speak for you. Curate books with care. Have a sustainable business model, because passion alone cannot run a business.
Yeah.
So have a sustainable business model. Create a community. That is the most important thing, because community is what is going to keep it going. So create a community of readers, a safe space for children where they can come and meet other children their age who are readers, and other parents. And because parents also have a lot of struggles, and because to keep the kids reading, it's struggle. So, but again, if you meet like-minded parents, you can share your concerns and understand what others are doing.
Yep.
So create a safe space, create a community, do a lot of activities, and yeah, you put in a lot of passion, and I'm sure it will pick up.
Fantastic. That was great talking to you, Neha. And I'm sure a lot of children and parents would connect to what you are saying, especially if they like books and they like to read. And I have heard and seen a lot of activities that you do on your social media pages, and it is very interesting. Please do follow Kahani Box, and like Neha mentioned, it is not just a physical space where you have to come and look at books and pick it up. You can also order online once you have a membership, and they deliver it for free. We will have all their social media links on our pages, and if you have any questions, you can drop it on the comments, and Neha will reply as well. Thank you very much for coming on to Tantrums to Triumphs.
Thank you, Deepti. Thank you for calling me. It was a wonderful chat.